You all know how much we love ProCare. We talk about them all the time, pretty much in every episode we record.
Pretty much.
So we are really, really excited to announce.
They're sponsoring the podcast. Yay! Oh my goodness. I'm so excited.
Yes. And we truly believe in their product because we take them every single day. I take their one-a-day capsule.
Yes. And I take their one-a-day chewable. It's freaking delicious.
And not only do they have multivitamins, but they have calcium chews.
Yeah.
Delicious calcium chews. The salted caramel is to die for.
Oh, and the cinnamon roll, guys, tastes like a cinnamon roll. Oh my God.
They also have dinner mint, but our favorite
is the dark chocolate for two reasons. One, you can have it at nighttime for a treat or make a s'more out of it. We've done it. Freaking bomb.
How cool is that? So go now to procarenow.com and use code OSLP for 10% off.
Alrighty, now go now. What are you waiting for?
Go get your vitamins.
Yeah. It's going to be Anthony Lawley and Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa. I have a problem pronouncing anything anyway, like spaghetti is hard for me, so just bear with me if I F this up. So I promise I'll try really hard. Mother Teresa.
Yes.
Yeah. Welcome back, OSLP family. Welcome. This is Our Sleep Life Podcast, and this is Mel. And there's no Kelly, unfortunately, today, which you can probably tell in the voices because she's normally we're peeking together. But unfortunately, Kelly is out today. She's not feeling the greatest. And we had this amazing opportunity to get this gentleman on. And we want to talk about the challenge and all the things that are going to be coming along for the next 3 months. And we're like, we got to get this in. So for everybody that's listening, we have this awesome person named Anthony Lawley with us. And we also have Mother Teresa with us. So they are a husband and wife, and they're going to kind of give us their journey, their stories, because they have a great challenge coming up, and there's a skin removal involved, and we will get to that here shortly. So, Lawley, welcome on.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Yeah.
An amazing 2022. So
yes.
We're off to a roaring start. You know, I can't even believe I'm here. Coming from where I came from. So I'm just glad to be alive.
Yeah. Because how long ago did you start your weight loss journey?
About 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
I was 315 pounds, and I only counted 3 years ago because I had tried all my life to try to lose weight. You know, I tried so many different things. And it wasn't until 3 years ago that I said, that's it. You know, I'm going to lose this weight once and for all. It was major influence to my wife and the children. You know, I wanted to be alive for them.
Yeah.
And, you know, I had to make that decision. And once I did, I started filming it, and it became one of the most watched documentaries. It came out during the pandemic.
So crazy.
Which actually turned out to be a blessing because everybody was consuming all this content. So since then, it's won 4 awards. It's been nominated 7 times from film festivals, and it's called From Fat Lolly to Six Pack Lolly. So the ultimate transformation story.
Yes, you guys go watch it. Like I said before, I actually did go watch it, and it's a tearjerker. But you're like, it's exciting at the same time. You're just like, oh, like you can see the wins coming, and you're just like, I got all excited for you. So even though I knew the end result, I was just like, yay! So definitely go check that out. But like, what one made you, finally say, this is it? I need to buckle down and get healthy. And then 2, film it.
Well, a lot of things. My wife had been trying to get me to lose weight, my mother, everybody, for years. We had interventions in the house.
Okay.
And, we would go to the doctors, and of course, I didn't want to hear it. They're like, the obvious thing. And she would tell me, go to the doctors. And I'm like, what am I going to hear? I know I have to lose weight. I just don't. That's the problem. I get the root of the problem. I just don't want to do it, And then we're sitting there, and he says to us, there is one solution. There's these surgeries that you could do. And then surgeries. I was like, okay. And so I said, okay, let's look into it. We looked into it, and I said, all right, let's give it a shot. It was the sleeve. There was the different options, and the sleeve was the one that seemed to me like the one that would work because it didn't leave you with, I guess, a clip or a band or whatever it was. I heard a lot of horror stories about that. So At the time, that was like the latest technology. Now they have the balloon, right? So like that's like I missed out on that, but they have the balloon where they can put a balloon.
But we don't know what the complications are.
Yeah, we don't even like that one's so new. Like we don't even know really much about that one. Like we're still rocking the sleeve, which I had, and you had, and then the gastric bypass, which is making kind of a comeback because with all the technology and like information now, it's not as scary as what everybody thought it was. I know I was like, I don't want my stuff rerouted. Don't do it. I don't want someone in there doing that stuff. That's scary. But now after watching Dr. Dovak actually like let us go in there with her and watch, I'm like, oh, that's actually not that bad. And I totally get it. But also it still gets me is the malnutrition part of the nutrients of the food and even your vitamins. And now we're learning if people are on antidepressants, that's actually having problem with absorption. So like so if you go in taking like whatever milligrams, it's technically might need to be upped because of that. So we're learning about that now too. So it's just it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. So you know, when we heard about the risk, because there's risks involved in every surgery. Then Teresa and my mom and everybody were like, don't do it. But then I was just like, I don't want to hear about this weight loss thing anymore. I'm just going to do it. That's it. You know?
And it was weird because we were like 7 months pregnant with our first child.
Yeah.
I still remember I was like, you know, hanging out there and so worried. And he literally said his goodbyes to us. It was like,
whoa.
I'm like, wait, we're just about to have a child.
I mean, listen, Joan Rivers dies under the knife doing a simple cosmetic. People die all the time.
Yeah,
you know? In fact, my partner and one of the people that work for the organization, her sister just had the sleeve surgery. She has 2 sisters.
Yeah.
One went through the company and did the diet and exercise and lost a bunch of weight. The other one said, I just cannot do this. I know I'm not going to do it. I know I'm not going to commit to it. I need a head start. I'm going to do this surgery. Don't stop me. So she did the surgery and we don't know what happened because they're still, you know, going back and forth. This was like a couple of weeks ago. She died 3 days later.
I know. That's so scary. Like scary and crazy. Like
scary and crazy. But you just don't know. We don't know what the issues were. But there's a chance in you can anything. You can die walking out down the street. I was
going to say, in car accidents, the whole nine. Yeah.
But so anyway, I went and did it and, you know, followed the instructions for up until I can start eating hard foods again.
Where'd you get yours sleeve done at?
I did it with Dr. Fursley in NYU Langone.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Really nice. Huh?
I was say, how'd you find them?
He was highly
sleeping. It was great. You know, I was sleeping. I was knocked out, you know, but it was great.
Definitely. He gave us a lot of confidence for sure.
Really
like
nice.
He's good at research with any surgeries.
Okay.
Him and Carlos, they would just dive in and have, they interviewed almost everybody, didn't you?
Yeah, we went and interviewed a lot of different doctors.
All the gastric sleeve, and then they picked Fursley because he seemed the oldest and the most, knowledgeable, most experienced, and he was just very confident.
At the time I was running my business. It was very big. We were doing a bunch of stuff. I was very busy. So I had to really do it and then just move on and keep going. But I basically put on I lost 50 pounds right away.
Okay.
And then I put on 70. So it was just like that. Yeah. So I ended up just eating my stomach back to the size it was, or maybe even bigger.
And now bigger with bulking, right?
Yeah. And then what happened was, I lost a bunch of muscle mass.
Okay.
And I became skinny fat from, like you mentioned, the poor nutrition.
Yeah.
So now my BMI was even worse because now I was just fat. I mean, it was just fat on top of the bones. There was no muscle left because before I was at least kind of like, I like to call it fatletic. I was able to do some boxing. I would go to the gym every now and then, hit
water sports.
Yeah.
He never slacked off.
So you're active.
I was very sporty. So when we were dating, we had so much fun, water sports, skiing, surfing, and he would always catch up. I was like, how's this happening?
So he had it in him. Like he was always been like that active physical person. It was just like, you kind of were just stuck in the body, right?
Yeah.
I remember that feeling of just being stuck in the body. Like that's not fun. But backtrack just a tiny bit. What was the month range that you stopped losing and started being able to eat more?
don't remember. It was like, I think the first couple weeks is the soft foods, and then I'm committed to the B12 shots because my B12 receptor was cut off.
Which is really annoying because you always have to go get that prescription.
Yeah.
It's like they don't give it to you for like 6 months. We're gonna need it anyway. Just give it to us for 6 months. Nope. Gotta call, appointment, wait. It's just a time suck.
It totally is. Yeah. My B12 was super low too.
Being in an Italian restaurant in my neighborhood.
Okay.
And I'm eating penne alla vodka with some alcohol, and there goes the doctor. Dr. Fursley walks into the restaurant.
Oh my God.
This thing. He was pissed. He was pissed. He was like, "What are you doing, Anthony?" And I just was like, "Oh, this is a one-time thing," but it wasn't. It was already going.
It really snuck up. It wasn't like he was great, and then one day he let go, and it was just this like, all of a sudden, whoop, pounds fell off, and then gradually they all sneaked back up.
Yeah.
And we didn't even notice it. I was like, wait, you lost it, and then we weren't even like weighing ourselves, weighing him, and then we realized it was like too late.
Oh my God. How are you able to like handle that kind of food though? Like, wasn't that painful?
I was throwing up.
Yes. You were throwing up.
I was definitely choking.
We had so many scares. Like in the middle of the night, he would wake up and he was like, "I'm throwing up inside my stomach." I'm like, "Talk to me." He's like, "I can't." It was the scariest. He scared me at least 3 times, 4 times. Yeah.
That didn't stop me. I kept eating.
It was a psychological mixing though, right? Mixing, like if he mixed if it was above 2 drinks and dairy, like ice cream and heavier digesting things, he would have a reaction like that.
Yeah, so that's understandable.
Had to start watching.
Oh, 100%.
Yep.
Yeah, because that's I've done it where I've gone too far and it's like, whoo, this is super painful. I have to like stand up, kind of like hold my hands up like I'm just in like a football drill, like just kind of walk it off. It works really well, but it's not, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good at all. But you're right, like it's a psychological thing is happening with that. Like, did something happen to where like, I'm gonna start eating more, or it was just like a lot of stress, or have you ever like delved into what was going on?
I just think that I don't know. I just was like, I don't know. Nobody's going to tell me what to do. I just did the surgery really just to kind of like, hey, I tried. Okay.
Right.
I tried. That was it. All right. Get off my back.
You were kind of curious to see how much that would do.
Yeah. But without the actual commitment to it, it
doesn't
wasn't going to work.
No.
Like I needed to really be committed. So I ballooned back up. Yeah. And then my partner was also doing the same. My partner Carlos was, eating. And we had this joke. We're like, "Oh, we beat the surgery." It was like it was like a joke, really. Like I beat the surgery. Like I'm eating like I used to eat before.
Right.
And so then we just looked at each other and we said, we're gonna die fat and happy. That's it, And I just basically said, this is my persona. This is who I am, and that's what's gonna be. That's what it's gonna be. And then all the other complications started happening, the sleep apnea.
Okay.
And, a bunch of my partner started getting chest pain. So all these other things. And then you start going back up in weight. So you start feeling problems at like, 300 pounds. I would start feeling the chest pains.
Yeah.
But then your body adapts. So I wasn't feeling the chest pains anymore at 300. It was 305.
Okay.
So then I would say, okay, let me stay at 300. Creep up to 305, start getting the chest pains, do a little remedy, like maybe go on a little small crash diet for a couple of days, get back down. But then I get to 305 and I wouldn't get the chest pains. Then it's 310. I would play that same game. So then you're all the way up to 315.
Wow.
And, my wife, we would go out to dinner and the kids, she practices healthy eating habits.
So can I add, like at first, the reason why it started going back up, because our first child, Love, was the easiest child in the world. And we literally lived as if we were dating again. So we were out all the time, vacationing in Aruba, Florida, this and that. So, and at that time, I think he was taking it easy on business. So we were just having another honeymoon with our child.
Okay.
But at that time, she was just nursing and, eating like tiny veggies and really not comprehending. But when we had our second child, Legend, things got a little bit like intense. And I was very adamant about feeding Love healthy, because at that time she was turning 2.5.
Yep, they're starting to
She
know.
was understanding, and my whole plan was falling apart because we would go to restaurants and she would want to pick a French fries from Daddy, where she has a whole plate of broccoli, and that was just very, very important for me, because I know the palate develops from 0 to 8. Same thing with childlike development. The brain develops from 0 to 8. So I was like, all the way up until 8 years old, my child is not eating any junk, not even one French fry, So I was very to the other level of extreme. So at restaurants, it started becoming hard, tantrums, crying, and it stopped being fun.
Right.
Because I was already not sleeping, with our second child. He had the little acid reflux. So I'm already like on edge. My plan is falling apart. My son is crying. My daughter is about just to eat a French fry. It was just all getting too dramatic. So I started putting down some rules. I was like, we can't go to restaurants anymore. We can't eat together. I was like, I have a plan. And he was like very helpful with that, because he's like, he would come down, Ma, get empanadas, in Spanish, and he would just eat his treats here.
Okay. So you went to a different location to eat. So that way the kids and you could eat healthy. Okay.
But he loved going out. That was his favorite thing to do. So taking that away definitely affected him.
Yeah.
And
one time, I convinced her for us to go out together. I don't know where we were, at a theme park or something, but the situation was we had to eat together. And so Love is trying to, grab at some of my cheese fries. And Teresa said, don't eat that. You're going to get fat. And then she didn't know what that word meant.
Because at that time you're just already, so you're going to gain weight. You're going to be fat. And she's like, well, it's fat.
And so she showed her.
Yeah, she's not going to know. That's way too young. Way too young.
Yeah, so she shows her a video about obesity. And then in the video, it was like a random video. It said obesity kills and whatever. And then she looked at me. She said, Daddy, you're fat. I don't want you to die. But it was a lot of, was that the next day is really when I decided to make that commitment. But it was almost like The Sixth Sense, the movie The Sixth Sense, when he realizes at the end that he's actually dead.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It was everything that happened, like, things that my mother would tell me, or things that Teresa would tell me, like, do you want to take, do you want to go to the PTA conference being obese, and then the kids making fun of,
would bully our children, right?
All of these things. And then it just dawned on me at that moment. And then looking at, do you want, like my mother told me, my mom just turned 84 on December, like a couple weeks last week. So, my memories of my mom is just being out and about and being healthy, not going to the hospital because she's sick and ruining the weekend. You know what I mean? And so, and I like to go out. I like to do things. I want to be active. And I already was trending.
He loves to make his children proud of him.
Yeah.
Big
That's
time.
great. That's great.
He lives for that. Anything. Do you guys like my muscles? Look, I just got a new shirt. Like, he's just a kid around them. It's so cute.
Well, and
definitely, this move started with that. Like, he wanted to make the kids proud of him.
Yeah, you wanted to be a good dad. You want to be a good role model, because like that, you're not wrong, because like when we did our call on off air, like that was the biggest deal. Is like I watched my dad go through a stroke, like in front of me, go through a heart attack in front of me. Like I was in the room when they told us like, hey, Dad has cancer. This is what's going on. And he was only like, he died at 59. So, like we're going through this in his 50s, and it just sucks because it's all about like knowledge, because he had no idea like what he was really doing was affecting your body. He's born in the 50s. So it's like he had no clue, and he's learning all this, trying to keep up. And he's like, I don't care anymore. He wants to just eat his freaking food, And I don't want that for my kid, because I went through that. Right. So it's like, I can see why you're like, no, I can't. Like, this is actually the line is when my kid's like, hey, I don't want you dying. Cause I would, if Dylan said that to me, I'd probably just bust into tears and be like, I will do whatever you need me to do. It's a crazy thing. So I'm just happy that like you took that and it resonated with you. And then you're like, we're doing this thing.
I needed to hang on to something that was bigger than me, because obviously I was prepared to die fat.
For you, yeah.
And it had to be more important than me. And honestly, the children and the family, my wife was more important being there.
Also the plans that we make for the children, right?
Yeah.
Like we have big plans for them, and he knows like without him, they may not make it where we want them to be. So
Yeah.
he's very competitive. He's one of the most brilliant dads I've ever met in my life. Like the way he puts in this, like, you know, like we're very visionary people, but he puts in the work. And
that's cool.
Like at 2 years old, our daughter had a secretary for a few months to set up a few accounts. I'm just saying, you know, this is who he is. You know, he'll
That's
go
amazing.
the extra mile. You know, and a lot of the times where we had to, our daughter's an actress, where we had to film student films that doesn't pay anything, and we had to, you know, drive, spend gas, parking, tolls. Like none of that ever mattered.
Right.
You know, for him, like he will put, so for him is like, what? I'm not going to live to see our daughter become an actress. And then we decided our son needs to succeed. And he's like now engaged in those goals. But I think what really helped him jumpstart was with him and Carlos. The next day of that restaurant incident, they literally jumped in.
Well, I went first.
He went first,
Carlos
and I think day 3 or something.
Yeah, day 2 or day 3.
Day 3, and it was 21 days straight, 3 times a day. That really just set them off, and that was it. From then on, it was gliding.
I wanted to dive in. I talk about it in a documentary. I wanted to dive in head first and attack all the things that I failed at when I wasn't really trying.
Okay.
I tried CrossFit. I walked in there, I walked out like 10 minutes later, you know, and then I said, I'm going to learn how to climb this rope. I'm going to learn how to do this deadlift. You know, I'm going to learn how to do, you know, this pull up, because all that stuff was intimidating to me.
Yeah, it is. It's super intimidating.
It was. And, you know, flipping tires, this and that. And that's not something easy to do when you're really out of shape, you know?
No.
And so I went ahead and attacked all those things. I ran. You know, I started running 5 miles. I started doing everything, really. I started doing HIIT training, bodybuilding. I tried I even did mixed martial arts.
Ooh.
Yeah, I tried it all. And then I watched this documentary on Netflix. It was called Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. And it was a very really good documentary. It was about a guy who started juicing, you know, fruits and vegetables. A successful entrepreneur
who actually resonated with him. Yeah.
That's what I was able to identify. The guy was 40 years old at the time, and he was from Australia and was on 11 pill medications, you know, and taking pills, was morbidly obese, and decided to just come to the United States, put an outlet in the trunk of his car, and started juicing all over, driving the United States.
Went across, right?
Okay.
Yeah, and he started losing all this weight, and he filmed it and turned it into a documentary and a business. And I said, I could do that.
You're like, I can do that too.
I could do that too. So, but you know, he didn't have like a muscular physique. I said I grew up like, you know, in the 80s. So I like wrestling, and I grew up around muscular physique. So I said, I want to have some muscles.
Oh my goodness. Who's your favorite wrestler? I have to ask.
You know, I like them all. I like Hulk Hogan, obviously, the Ultimate Warrior.
The other one, Fabulous.
Oh, no, I have the kids. I have the kids jumping off the top of the bed.
Oh, nice.
So I have Legend saying, Jimmy Superfly Snooker, and then I have my daughter Love saying, "Oh, Fabulous Moolah."
Oh my goodness! No, but it's fun.
Put it on Instagram, and people get a kick out of it.
Hell yeah! I'm a huge wrestling fan. That's why I had to ask, because I'm like, for back in the day, it's Macho Man.
Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah. And like the people that fly in the air is the brothers, the Christian and what's his brother's name? The Hardy Boys. Yeah, the Hardy Boys. Those are my favorites because they're like acrobatics. I'm like, holy crap! How do you do? That's why I used to get mad at people because they're like, wrestling's fake. I'm like, okay, just because I know at the end who's gonna win, none of that shit's fake. Like they're making those lands, they're doing those drops. Like that would, if I did, because we watch it even to this day, like every once in a while, and I see them take those bumps, and I'm like, if that was me, I'd be broken. Like that would not work. Like I'm gonna need surgery. Stat. Like this is crazy. Yeah. So I'm a big wrestling fan. I've always wanted to do wrestling. They have a school here, and so like when COVID's finally like legit where like we can like go do those types of things, like I'm gonna be there because I always want to do a pop-up power bomb. Like that's the one move I've always wanted to try because I got like big old thighs. Like that's my jam is like button thighs, because after surgery I was like, they said do weight training. I was like, got you. And I realized I can squat for days. Like I can do 1,000 squats in a day, not a problem, just bust them out. So when I was losing weight, I gained a bunch of muscle in my thighs and my butt because I was doing deadlifts and doing squats all day. I had people in my cubicle because I worked for the Department of Revenue, and we had the cubicles across from each other. And I would make them do it with me. I'm like, all right, guys, we're doing 10. And they're like, what? I'm like, we're doing 10 squats. Let's go. Like, and they're like, okay, Melody says we're going. So I'm like, let's do this. Because working out, what I've noticed is also, it makes you feel good, right? So like, I noticed like the mood swings, like there's a lot less of those. Did you experience that too when you started like going hard on working out?
It's very therapeutic for me. You know, I've trained, you know, because of who I was in the business world, it gave me access to, you know, work out with different celebrity trainers and coaches and things like that. Cause I'm able to offer them business mentorship and they're able to offer me fitness mentorship.
That's
so
cool.
It's like really good. And so I've tried so many, everybody has their own style that leads to an amazing result.
Right.
So I've tried all different styles of bodybuilding and training and so forth. It's very therapeutic for me. I love it. I personally enjoy it. You know, I love the fact that I'm reaching my goals. You know, my body's under construction. That's really the way I look at it.
How did you?
It helps with the kicking out the sickness, right?
Yes.
So you noticed that we got COVID last December
Mm-hmm.
and we worked out throughout and we literally felt better day after day.
Yeah.
How awesome. Yeah. Like it's interesting because if you really do take your vitamins, do your protein, water, like do the workouts, like I haven't, like, since they made us like lock down, I've only had one cold. And that was like just because of the retreat that I went to. And like I was just around a lot more people than I've ever been in airports and whatever. But like I still haven't had COVID. Like it's kind of cool to realize like, hey, if you actually keep a kind of close knit, wash your hands, of course, and be healthy. Like if you're eating really good, healthy foods, those veggies, like there's a lot of nutrition in those veggies, like and anti-inflammatories. So like I'm all about it because I've noticed one, the energy level is probably through the roof, right? That was one of the first things you guys noticed. And then just the brain fog gone.
Yeah.
That's
right.
The brain fog was a big deal for me, especially when I started. It was like,
Yeah, let's hear about your journey because you actually are like went from like really like small, right, to get some like big old muscles on you.
Yeah. I was 111 pounds.
Okay.
After my second child, it was like 18 months after that. But I did have a very weak abdominal area because I had a diastasis recti after my second child, which is basically the abs kind of stretch apart.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So even though I was like 111 pounds, very skinny, after my second meal, I would look like I was 5 months pregnant. It was just a very irregular body. I didn't know what to do, what wardrobe to buy. Like I just didn't feel good.
That's
also,
annoying.
Huh?
That has to be annoying. Like
it was annoying. And I was told because I had a 5-finger, my son was 10 pounds when he was born.
Dang.
So he literally ripped me from inside. I was a very petite girl. Yeah. And I was told you cannot lift anything heavier than 3 pounds. You know, like just day-to-day life became very like annoying, like you said.
Yeah.
I had to even, you know, I would go food shopping and I'd be like, hon, can you come with, you know, bring the groceries up? And that's not me. Like I like to be independent and I couldn't hold my daughter. What?
That would be weird not be able to hold your kids because I mean they came out more than 3 pounds. So it's like, what do you do?
So it was basically before COVID hit, he was gearing up to compete in April and I was like, you know what? Maybe I get a meal plan and I'll just do a little like, you know, workouts, lose a little fat, gain a little tone, and I'll be on stage, you know, I'll just inspire moms. When I was watching him, his journey really inspired me. Just seeing that bodybuilding, weightlifting, and being on a meal plan can transform you like this in such, you know, fast, guaranteed way. I was really impressed, but I was also impressed with some women who stepped on stage and they were 35, 40, mother of 4, mother of 5, and they looked incredible. Awesome. So that kind of gave me the push. And it was really not enough time when I got the idea. It was literally 3 months before he was going to hit the stage.
Oh yeah. You need way more time. Yeah.
Yeah, you need way more time. But I was like, I'll just look as good as I could. I'll just rely on my dancing skills and whatever. And I said, I'll just have fun for the kids. If they're going to be cheering for you, they can cheer for me too. I can make them proud too. And that's how it started. And when COVID hit, we moved the gym downstairs. We made a little boutique gym, and he started training me.
Awesome.
And honestly, I was just checking my before videos, and within 6 months, I went from squatting and struggling with 25 pounds on each side. I was up to 185.
Whoa.
See, one of the things that I did with my training is I trained her like a transformation person.
Nice.
That's a different style training.
Yeah.
What people don't understand, the same way I train my mom who's 84, it's no different than training somebody who's 400 or 500 pounds. You got to be careful with the joints and the knees and the wrists and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So I was able to use the things that I knew worked for me and got rid of the stuff that was a waste of time and didn't work, and just go straight to business.
I like that. I like that.
You this,
dang. Wow. Right? You can totally, that's a huge difference.
Huge difference.
Huge difference.
I feel like
all that definition, that muscle tone,
Yeah, and this was after my second meal where I look pregnant, even though I'm still the same weight.
That's
and
ridiculous.
Here I have abs. I'm winning pro cards. I actually managed to get 2 pro cards from 2 separate, completely unrelated federations under his tutelage. But I also was, on a very strict meal plan. Not that I was hungry. I was only hungry towards competitions. But this transformation happened while I was blissfully eating, but I was following my macros.
Yeah.
So I think that played a huge difference.
Yeah.
And there would be days that he would just text me, okay, you're going to do this exercises, this many sets, this many reps, and this much weight. So this is what RBT does for our clients. We can customize workout plans and meal plans to power the workout that you're about to do and to result in
so you're burning
muscle,
fat and gaining muscle at the same time.
Yeah. So how long, what would you say the longest really the workout is?
2 hours max.
Well, that's the longest
2 hours max.
Professional style training.
Where we do 5 sets,
Yeah, but it depends on what your goals are, what your body are. You can get a good workout in 40 minutes. You don't need to go crazy.
Gotcha.
If but if you're trying to win a pro card your first time on stage from being skinny and frail, you got to put in that time.
Absolutely.
And training. So we were putting in that kind of work so that we can get her body up to speed, so to speak. The body is an amazing thing, how it responds.
It's crazy. Yeah.
With all the muscle, we always talk about have a pep in the step, and that just comes naturally when you're weightlifting. Your muscles are alive. They just make you feel like you're ready to go for the day.
I mean, you're not wrong, because I feel like when I walk outside, I'm more I stand up straight. Okay. Yeah. There's no hunched over, don't look down. It's boom, we're here kind of situation. So
before, when our kids would ask us to do something, I would just be like, okay, let me go. You just get into this mom bod and mom fog, right? And now they ask me, I'm like, all right, let me go. And it's just I'm like one of them. I'm like a kid. I just jump, I hop, I dance with them. I do everything with them.
Oh, that's amazing.
So we both became cooler parents.
Yeah, because you can do so much stuff now. I remember just being able to play on the playground more. That was a huge win. That was an NSV for sure. Because I'm like, what? I can go down slides and not get stuck, I can not feel awkward going down. This was crazy. And the fact I can just do more things with my kid, I was like, this is so much more fun. So for those that don't know, what is a pro card?
A pro card is okay, so bodybuilding in the fitness world, right? So there's a ton of federations, and there's the main ones, the WBFF, which is more the fancy, and they don't like being called bodybuilding. It's more fitness modeling.
That's the one that's in the documentary that I competed for.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they actually host transformation. So when you go there and you watch a transformation show, you're inspired, right? You're like, wow, look at all of these people doing their thing, going on stage, you know, through all different methods.
Victoria's Secret type of fashion show.
But then there's other categories. There's other categories.
Nice.
There's bikini, there's muscle model, there's model.
Yeah,
so,
there's wellness now. So, and then there's other federations like the IFBB or the Olympia or NPC, which we're more familiar of. And when we talk about bodybuilding, that's what we think of. And then there's a ton of natural bodybuilding federations where you get tested, your urine gets tested, you do the polygraph test.
Yeah.
So there's a ton of federations that we decided it would be cool and eye-opening to go around and compete with our favorite federations, all different ones, 6 of them. Yeah, and to just educate the crowd. There's this federations, you can choose whichever you want. And so when you compete, when you place first or top 3, and each federation has their own
You compete
rules.
as an amateur because you're an amateur.
Right, that makes sense.
So your goal, you're competing against other amateurs, and then at that amateur show, the best person wins a pro card. So when you get a pro card, means now you get to compete against the pros and win prizes and titles and all that kind of stuff.
They basically consider you in line with all the pro level models who've been competing in bodybuilding for, 6, 8, 7 years.
Oh, so you're like officially a professional. Like that's what it like you're officially there. Like you got it.
Yeah. So the judging is pretty high, and you got to beat everyone in your class as amateurs, and then you're like the best of the best, and you get a pro card. And now you no longer compete as an amateur. You can only compete against professionals.
Like how cool. And you got 2 of them. How awesome.
You got 2 of them from 2 different federations,
That's awesome.
It was the first one I got, the first show. What happened was
Amazon loved the documentary so much. They said, film a part 2, but make it a docuseries.
Okay.
And they said, what would you like to film? I said, well, this is what we got on our calendar for 2021. We're going to compete all over the world. They said, that's great content. Film it. Show everybody what it's like. So we went and competed in England and Texas and Florida and Vegas, all over these and for different federations and so forth. So right off the bat, the first show, she wins her pro card. And that was like a big shock. It was like it was a blessing. It was a bittersweet moment because what happens when you win your pro card is you can't compete for any other competitors. Like they want you to represent that brand.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she actually had to hand it in. She got it and thank you, and then handed it in because we had.
I wish I competed at the end.
Yeah. Like we had to compete for other federations, so we were just like, we said, here we'll come back and win it again.
There you go.
And so we ended up. She ended up winning a pro card in another federation called Pure Elite.
And that was the first place. It was the first place pro card.
And we did a couples thing together where we were on stage as a couple, and we won like 10 trophies at that time.
That's how it was insane.
Holy crap, that's insane.
On the 4th of July. It was pretty cool.
Wow.
So it was very memorable. So that's what a pro card is.
Thank you. Yeah. Because how did you, Anthony, so I know we're going to go like really far back on this one real quick, is how did we go from, you gained all the weight, now where you said, yes, we're going to work out, we're going to do those 21 days thing, to now you're going to compete? Cause that's a whole different mind shift.
Well, I started losing the weight and I started knowing that it was in my control. It was something that I was in control of what I ate. The exercises I did, guaranteed results. I would step on the scale or I would look in the mirror. Every day was a big change, and then obviously every week an even bigger change. And when you're working with a coach, you start, sending check-in pictures. So now you're documenting everything.
Okay.
Right? It's called a check-in picture. You check in with your coach every week. You weigh yourself. You send the front, side to side, and a back picture of yourself without a shirt, just in underwears. And when you start comparing the pictures, and you're standing in the same place, it's not like taking a mirror selfie. This is like professional style. You're there, the same angle, same lighting, same place. You can really see the transformation happening right before your eyes. Yeah. You're like, this is happening. It's happening for me this time. It's gonna happen. So you just start putting your foot on the gas. You start putting the pedal to the metal. And so I started losing all this weight. And then I have this loose skin.
Okay.
Right? So I'm like, oh my God. And because it was still like, I'm like, is the skin gonna go back? And you start hoping, and then you're doing more research and like, this thing's not going back.
Because how much did you lose?
I lost in total 140 pounds, but I lost 125 pounds in 9 months.
Okay.
And then I got a loose skin removal surgery.
Okay.
And then I had to lose more weight to be on stage. So in total it was like 140 pounds, but I lost 125, got the loose skin removal surgery, literally just got back into the gym like a month later against doctor's orders and started, I had the blood vials in the documentary. I show it all. I mean, it's funny. We kept the scene in the documentary where Teresa's literally wiping my butt because that's how incapacitated you are. You have to poop standing up. You cannot move your arms or you can't even do anything. And you're in constant pain.
Can you explain to the viewers and listeners, like what type of loose skin did you get all done?
Okay, so I had loose skin on my chest.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, like man boobs.
Okay.
Right? After I lost all the fat, I was left with the skin.
Right.
Then I had all the loose skin around my stomach and my back.
Okay.
I didn't have the legs or the arms done. It was pretty much, I lucked out where I didn't have to. I built enough muscle around that area, but it was mainly around my chest and my stomach. So I had to have my chest where they moved the nipple, they cut like a keyhole, lifted it up. And then from under my arm, they cut the skin and tightened it and lifted the chest up. So I wasn't left with any major scarring around my chest.
Oh,
I see a lot of people that get the surgery, they get that done, but it could be done in a more elegant way. I also did like a 180 or a 360, I forgot what they call it, but it did go, and I had my belly button redone because it's basically like having an extra long shirt. They cut it and then they just give you a new belly button.
Yeah. I saw that because like that was what was kind of interesting was the difference of yours. So like, where did you go to get yours done?
Okay, so I went to this doctor. I had tried so many different doctors. I interviewed them. And with these plastic surgeons, they don't have time. They're busy. They charge you. Some of these charge you $500 for a consult, $1,000, $300. I think we interviewed like 12 different plastic surgeons, and we even considered traveling abroad. I ended up settling with a doctor in Manhattan.
Okay.
And he was pretty good. He was pretty decent. And now I'm actually doing something with another doctor in Texas, which we'll talk about regarding the challenge.
Yeah.
But so I ended up going with that particular doctor because he was mainly focused on males, which I like because when a woman gets a breast lift, they're okay with the scar under the breast because the breast's going to hang over it. You can't see it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So when you go to a plastic surgeon that mainly 80 to 90% of their client base is women, and mostly women want to do that kind of stuff besides the tummy tuck, they're not familiar with how to work with men's chests, And so their mindset around the loose skin removal surgery is like, all right, you look great, man. You lost all this weight. You're going to look great. Don't worry about it. They don't really care about the big scar that you're going to have around your chest. So this guy understood. I said, listen to me. This body is now going to be a Bugatti. It's not a Ford pickup truck, work truck anymore. It's like, it's going to be out for display. So I need to look the part. I need this to be done the right way. So he was talking my language, and honestly, he says I'm pretty much the best, I'm the best result, surgery after.
What did he say about your abs too?
Oh yeah, because I had, listen, I trained my abs like 7 days a week. I really was hard on my abs. So when he opened up my skin, he was telling my partner Carlos and my wife, he said his abs were so thick and dense. He's never seen abs like mine,
That's a great achievement.
Lift up the flop, and see what's under.
That is awesome though. That means like
it changed my life. The surgery changed my life. It was a little bit uncomfortable, but then once everything came out, it's changed my life. I'm a whole brand new person. It's amazing. It was really what I was thinking to myself was like, holy crap, 41 years of damage erased in 1 year. Can you believe that? In 1 year, 9 months, I erased all the fat.
Right.
And then with the surgery, I erased all the, damage I did to my skin. So literally in 1 year, I erased 41. That's crazy. I'm like, this is insane.
It is. And it's funny because like people act like time. They're like, oh, That's going to take too long, a year or 2 years, whatever it is. And it's like out of the grand scheme of things, it's not. Like if you actually like don't like focus on like what's right here in front of you and kind of like open the scope, it's like, no, that's cool, totally cool. Like, hey, from 40 to 41, this is what we're going to focus on, this is what we're going to do. And then we're going to be like sailing for the rest of it. Cause like, that's how I am. I'm like, we do all the preventative stuff up front. Then the back end is so much quicker. I do that with work and everything. I'm like, we get it in, we get it out. That way we don't have to worry about it. Like there's no worries. And I want to touch base with like, guys, if you didn't notice, he interviewed any surgeon, whatever they were doing on him, whether it was the sleeve, whether he was doing plastic surgery, he interviewed them. And a lot of people forget that they can do that. They think, oh, my insurance says go here, so just do that. Oh. Hey, actually, your insurance will approve almost like 10 people. Go talk to all of them. Like, go get that done because, you know, they are putting you under. And this is a very important surgery and very scary. And you don't know what's going to happen. You definitely should be looking into who's like opening you up and doing some damage on you. Well, not damage on you, but, you know, it's scars and things like that. And people die. And that's, you know, you definitely want to have someone that's fully educated. And you went with someone that's like, hey, he knows about dudes. Like he knows how to work that. And I think that's a great angle because that way he knows exactly what you're expecting and vice versa. And I never even thought about that. That makes way more sense on a guy end to go like, hey, look for surgeons that actually work on guys because like they are probably way better with the skin. Like they know like what's going on there. And then they can move and tuck the scar, it sounds like. I mean, I got to see it. So yeah, because of the show, but you guys should all check that out because it is really interesting to see afterwards. So why did you go work out? What was it, 2 weeks after?
You know,
what are you doing?
I had made a commitment to do a show. I said, I want to do the show in December, which was my first transformation show. And I wanted to get a head start. And I said, you know, I just wanted to be busy. I didn't want to be incapacitated. I didn't like the feeling of laying down. So once I was able to walk around and be a little bit mobile, that was it. I'm going to the gym. I went to the gym and I still had the blood vials in me. It was crazy.
What did you do at the gym though? Because if you can't really bend, right? So
like
upper body stuff. You're sitting there. I was doing some shoulder stuff. I was mindful. Yeah. Sure yeah. So, but then once they came out, I was off to the races. I wasn't going to stop. I kept going.
When did those come out? How long did that take?
There was also a date.
Yeah.
And that helps a lot.
Yeah. Having a date, a deadline. It really, honestly, it made the healing go faster. It made me listen to, you talked about collagen. I was drinking collagen up the wazoo because that helps you with the skin and the scarring and all of that stuff. So I was listening. I was burning, I think it was 3,800 calories a day on just sleep and repair. Nice. It was just burning. So he said, don't diet hard because the more you diet hard, the more you're depleting your body from repairing itself.
Right.
So I was eating a lot and eating properly, eating all the things I needed to eat to heal myself. I was waking up every hour and walking around the kitchen.
Awesome.
To get the blood flowing, you know.
We've been told that you need almost double the protein you normally would after surgeries and any injuries because it helps with healing. So
that's right.
Yes, eat.
I was drinking the protein shakes and eating the protein, all that stuff. So that just helped, you know, and I was doing the massages.
This like junk food.
Oh yeah.
Because during that time he was like, I don't want to eat this burgers. Yeah. That was the first time I saw him not even.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Like your brain was like, we don't need that anymore.
Well, your doctor says, you know, you need to eat 5 burgers today, like for lunch or whatever, you know, and then you're like, I don't want it anymore. I just don't want it. I think it flipped that switch about food in him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because I think that happens like when someone goes on any sort of like weight loss journey, I think that slowly happens. Because like for me, it's like, I don't care about soda one bit at all. Like that's not even a thing. Like there's, bread for a long time. Didn't even touch it for a couple of years. I was like, nope, not necessary. It's totally fine. Pasta, I've stayed that way because I do love me some pasta. So I know that that's the one that I have to stay away from, and rice. And so like, it's funny that your brain will finally make that click of like, you don't need this in your body. It's almost like you wake up kind of like that. You're like, oh, okay. And you don't like miss it either. That's what I do like is you don't miss it. And it's kind of like you're finally listening to your body and being like, oh, I don't really need this. Because I think that I talk about all the time, is like, there's a huge disconnect between what you're eating and what you feel. People don't realize that that actually is connected, and they want to blame everything else that happened in the day, but actually it's the food that you ate or the stuff that you're drinking. Like, it really does make you change how you feel, mood swings, the whole thing. Like, if you don't eat, we get cranky. If you eat things that are really heavy and greasy, like, you feel like shit. Like, that's just what's going to happen.
I feel like there's like not a chance you can control food, but a lot of people just let food control them.
Yeah.
And I'm a living proof, because I used to love cheese, desserts, ice creams, like all of that, you know, and I was never heavy, but I had my own struggles of like up and down, you know, for a certain pound thingy. But after my son was born, I had to completely give up dairy. Ooh. That's a huge one.
Oh, that's a huge
one. Give up feta cheese, give up your, yogurts, or, even just the fact that you have to be mindful of checking the labels of anything and seeing if there's contains milk.
Yep.
And then like I started this whole holistic journey of giving up gluten, which I've been gluten-free, dairy-free, egg-free for 4 years.
Dang.
But again, that was a point where you realize you do control food.
Yep.
Food doesn't control you. Same thing goes for people, who struggle with weight loss. I feel like it's just that click. And what helped me I was struggling for a minute with the sugar, right? And my meal plans helped me immensely, because I put dates in it, which is the natural sugar.
Mm-hmm.
So when you put something, to replace the other bad stuff, and you just make it into a meal plan, and you decide you are going to stick to this meal plan for at least 3 months, it just changes your perspective on food. You just become something that you're just fueling your body with this food, and you're done. There's no cravings. There's no food, food choosing you. You choose the food.
Well, because what you're eating makes you feel full longer. So you're not having those cravings, because that's the deal. Definitely. Is like, I notice, like, if I start off the day with something kind of more sweet, then I'm kind of one of more sweet things later. But if I start off the day with like that solid, like, protein, eggs, or whether that's a protein shake, then I'm not wanting that sugary item at the end of the night. Like, it just doesn't even exist anymore. So it really is about like, hey, if you put in these types of foods, then you're not even going to think about it. Doesn't even come into play.
Being on a meal plan is like a lifesaver. It's so easy, makes life so easy, especially for moms, where you have to constantly figure out what you're going to cook for your children, what you're going to cook for your husband. If you're on a meal plan and you literally schedule 1 day a week, you meal prep for you, and all the leftovers of your ingredients, you package it in a freezer for your children, then I don't do much cooking these days.
Yeah.
It made my life 10 times easier.
Well, kids that go to school are on a meal plan, right? They eat breakfast and lunch at schools. It's like a preset meal plan.
Yeah.
Or even when
They're
our parents would put the food in our lunchbox, that's our meal plan. We're told what to eat, It's just when we start making decisions for ourselves is when things get out of control.
Well,
and
what
I tell people is, like, take an example is, imagine it's a cold winter day and you run outside with just your underwear on. The first thing you're going to do is find the store and buy any article of clothes.
Yeah.
And then go to another store and buy some socks, and another store and buy a jacket. You're going to look mixed matched, right?
Yeah.
So that's what happens. We go out of the house naked with food, unprepared.
Yeah.
So what do? We get a little craving. We go to 7-Eleven. We go to the Starbucks for the mochiata, for this, for that. We go to Walmart. You get all of these quick fixes, and then before you know it, you're drinking your calories. You're consuming 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 calories. You didn't even feel it.
And yet nothing to support your strength,
Right. You're getting headaches. We had a videographer that was part of the docuseries that we filmed. He came and traveled with us.
Okay.
And we, he's now like been so inspired. He sends me pictures. He looks like a totally different guy, just hanging out with us. He does meal plans at the gym. And now, so he was a little bit overweight.
Yeah. And
he had this problem. He says, Anthony, I have trouble filming at night. He says, start losing my eyesight at night. I start getting blurred vision.
Whoa.
He figured out it was the food. he was basically not eating as much, starving himself. So we gave him some of our food. We said, eat our food.
Yeah.
Now this guy kept us up till like 2 o'clock in the morning, doing all this video content. He's like, do this, do this, guys. He's bouncing around. And so the food can really make you or break you.
It does. It gives you that full energy. And I know with with the bariatric community, I know a lot of us with one of the bigger deals is like people commenting so much about like being prepared. Like it is interesting, the folks out there that care that I prepped my food and I brought it with me. Like the banter that we get is insane. They're like, why did you bring all those items? Like, do you think you're going to get like, in the car and just not be able to like get any food? And it's like, no, it's not about that. It's the fact of like, I'm on like a plan and I need to have my protein at these hours. And I don't know why I have to explain myself to you. Cause it's just, that's what I know for me and a lot of our people is like, it's just such a huge annoyance to where some of us let it get to us too much. To where we don't do the meal prep because like that, like we're fighting it psychologically of like, stop caring that they care because like, I tell them all the time, like, guys, just stop, like whatever they say, just, and just keep going. Cause it's none of their business. But if you do want to explain, go ahead and explain. But like meal prepping is so vital to being healthy, like some sort of plan, whether you write out the week and you already have it all ready to go. Yeah. Or you do what you're doing where you're like 1 day a week, like there's several ways that it works. You can make it work for you. I know people do like the HelloFresh or the Good Harvest. So that way it comes to your house and you can just eat those items. Like it makes sense. You just got to figure it out.
There's ways
what
you
I
can find to make it fit into your
right.
lifestyle.
You can, if you care enough, you will.
What I discovered is real simple. You want to be a karate master. You know that those karate masters took karate classes, had a sensei, had a coach. Somebody taught them how to do it. And I learned that discovery in the fitness world. I started hanging around people with bodies that I wanted to look like my body. So I started hanging out with guys with 6-packs.
Yeah, there you go.
I noticed they had meal plans. I noticed that if they ate something off the meal plan, they were conscious about it. We're talking about burning it off in the gym. If I was in the gym at 6 a.m, they were in the gym at 6 a.m, except I was fat and they had a 6-pack. So I'm just like, they're going there when in logic, you're like, why do you even need to be here? But they're there because they want to maintain it.
Yeah.
So it's very simple. They have meal plans. They work out. Oh, that's the big secret. You actually have to put in the work and continue to put in the work.
It's the work.
It's no different than being a mom. Like you guys are moms and you take your foot off of your children's neck, then all of a sudden they're all over the place. You have to be a parent.
Yeah.
You have to, see what's going on and be involved and nurture. They don't feed themselves. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Well, and I like the fact that you brought that up because that is like the process of like with your kids. Like I noticed like with my kid Dylan, if I don't like talk to him about his grades all the time, then all of a sudden the grades just slowly slip. But if I'm talking to him all the time, then they're always happening. They're great grades, right? And it's like it's the work though. Like people forget, hey, you can't just get from A to D. Like you can't just make that jump. Like there is a lot of work in the process. And I think a lot of people are just scared of not work, but the time that puts into it. And it's like, if you just do a little bit every day until it becomes a routine, you don't have to be on the gas tomorrow. Like you can just tomorrow, let's just meal prep. Like do meal prepping for a couple months and get that under your belt and then start doing the physical. Like it doesn't have to be all or nothing. And I think a lot of us forget that it doesn't have to be that way. And it's very intimidating because you're like, I got to do all these things, but you don't have to do them all right now. Like you still have time.
And also you can talk to your coach or whoever is giving your meal plan to consolidate certain things and to not make it as, difficult. Like I had to take out certain items that like avocado, for example, right? Something that I have to go constantly buy, come back. So if you feel like it's not fitting into your lifestyle, many coaches are flexible to adjust it. And I use 5 grams of avocado oil instead of that, let's say. Or there's many other substitutes. My current coach, Michaela, she's amazing. She gave me, because she knows I can handle a meal plan and substituting, she gave me some substitute lists.
That's
so she's
awesome.
like, if this doesn't fit into your life, there's many things that could be replaced with just 20 grams of hemp seeds, let's say, which is super easy. You just put it there with a little, like a salt shaker. You just add it to your meal.
That's amazing.
It's up to you to make it convenient for your life. an easy way I would recommend, easy way into for going into meal prepping would be getting your ingredients. Let's say you talk to your meal coach, and these are going to be your sources of protein, these are going to be your sources of grains, and there's, let's say, in total of 6 to 7 ingredients, right? Just cook them in bulk. Let's say, don't prep it in grams and put it in meals. Don't do just that. Just put it in bulk. I did that during the competition season because my meals were constantly changing depending on my look. So that was more convenient at that time. So you constantly need to be flexible, psych yourself up even, like make it more interesting for yourself, you know? Yeah, I would have like a bulk of lentils, a bulk of rice, bulk of quinoa, and every morning you just wake up, you dump, you're gone. And then you just
it's like a little buffet. Basically every day you can just put it together.
It's a buffet in your own house. Thank you.
That is awesome. I like that idea because like I always do the individual, but if you just do it in bulk, like that was just mind blown for me, by the way. So I'm gonna start doing that.
I figured out so many hacks because I have very busy two children. Love has booked 55 jobs by now, like acting, modeling, she's only 5. So all of that, the auditions, the shooting, the editing, the submitting, the going on set and choosing wardrobe, all of that is done by me. And then 10 classes per week, including chess and dancing and all of that. So for me, I had to figure out the easiest, the fastest way. And what you figure out this month may not work out for the next month. So always be flexible. It's like a game. I look at it as a game and as a part of life. I feel like people need to make it into a lifestyle, and short goals help, visualize that end goal of yours, get to that.
A photo shoot is a good goal.
Photo shoot is a good goal.
An anniversary
really
competition. We're hosting a competition too, which we'll talk about. But I mean, there's you got to have these goals. You have to have. It just can't be I want to lose weight. I even say like what Teresa did. She created a dream board. She put a picture.
I live by dream boards.
A picture of the body that we wanted. Each one of us, and I ended up exceeding. Looking better than the body. She ended up looking better than the body. When we went back and looked at it, it was like, wow.
We made this actually like a month before he started.
Yeah, a month before
I made this where I photoshopped his head on this guy.
Nice.
Also Google. I know he has tattoos, but at that time I just found it on Google. And then I found this from Victoria's Secret, and I photoshopped my head.
That's so funny. Oh my God. Well, that's great. They do. They do.
And it comes to life, and it really did. Like, now we have a bunch more things on the dream board. But you got to trust the process. Like,
you do.
In Teresa's scenario, it was the opposite, right? She had to put on a bunch of weight. She was very skinny.
I wanted to mention that, yeah.
She was 111 pounds. So she had to eat, and she ended up being 135 pounds.
Wow.
So like right here, right? So this is how I started.
Okay.
Right? Very skinny. That was my day 1. This is about 5th month.
Yeah, look at all that muscles.
And then let me see. And then this right here is like
you're good right there.
10.
Dang, girl. Yeah.
So I'm just showing glutes because I've never in my life imagined having like glutes with no cottage cheese, and even hamstrings. Like these hamstrings are there. For real.
Well, and I think that's the cool part when you start seeing like the parts on your body that are supposed to be there. Yeah, look at those. Yeah, because my favorite was like, I remember freaking out in the mirror after you get out of the shower because the first time you could see my ribs, I like did this and I was all, what is that?
Woo-hoo.
And I like looked and like, I was like, oh shit, you can see them. This is crazy. But I was like, I have never didn't know those existed for me.
It's
so
funny. You watch the documentary, most of my stuff in the closet, I'm like this because you're like, you're thin when you're looking at your obliques and your ribs.
Yeah. It was nuts. Or like the collarbone. I know a lot of us love the collarbone when that pops out because we're like, whoa, I didn't know like that was underneath all that neck. So we're at the point where you are, you're doing the challenges yourself. You're doing these at the federations, both of you. So when did you start you made your own, didn't you? That's what the RBT show is, or
what happened was when I did the transformation, I actually was watching and consuming every bit of fitness content on television or online that you could, anything that was fitness related, I was consuming it.
Yes.
So we were watching a show on Amazon Prime. It was called Radical Body Transformations.
Okay.
But it was mainly about people that were going to compete in, regular people competing in, transforming their bodies, but they're already kind of fit.
Yeah.
And so it said, have a transformation story submitted. So I had put together a small, like 30-minute documentary, not the one that's on Prime, but it was pieces of it.
Okay.
And I submitted it, and the owner of
an acting website.
It was on an acting website.
Backstage.com.
So,
I submitted those.
And so the owner, his name is James, he flew down the next day and he said, man, I've never seen a transformation story. I've been in the fitness world all my life. I've done stuff for the Olympia. I've done movies. I've done this. I've done that. Seems like you're a very acumened businessman. I'd love to talk business. What do you want to do? I said, listen, I want to get in the fitness industry. That's going to be a way for me to stay fit. So myself, James, and Carlos became partners in the company, which is now known as RBT, Radical Body. We rebranded everything, changed the format, and it's now more of a similar to what I did to lose weight and get fit, and what Teresa is doing is now what we're doing. We're helping thousands of people around the world through coaching, nutrition, customized things. But we're also now doing challenges. So we have this new challenge. This is our 4th challenge. So we've given away prize money, hundreds of thousands of dollars. People have lost so much weight or even put on muscle. Our last challenge winner was 62 years old, and the woman on the other challenge, how old was she? 61. Woman, and the other guy is 62 years old, a man. So it's like there's no age limit. We've had people that are living out of a truck lose weight, like without homes.
People with stories.
Amazing stories.
Tell her about the screenshot you sent me.
That
was intense.
There's people that want to lose weight because they want to be qualified to give a kidney to their own sister. There's people that are cancer survivors, and these people are doing it. They're out there losing weight, getting it. So this is our 4th challenge. So we run these challenges now. And what's exciting about this challenge is there's multiple prizes besides the cash and the coaching and the supplements and all the other perks. You actually get a chance to qualify to win a loose skin surgery.
Yeah, guys.
You know what I mean? And what's awesome about it is that you don't have to do the surgery right after the 90 days. Like, you just get the credit, and when you're ready, because what Radical Body Transformation is about, it's about holding your hand throughout your entire journey, whether that's 90 days, whether that's 1 year or 2 years, because everybody's journey is different. Everybody takes a different method to get there, whether you had weight loss surgery or whether you plan on having weight loss surgery, but you want to implement nutrition and exercise afterwards. We walk you through anything. The whole point is to get you to that goal. So not only do we offer you incentives, but we have like a Facebook community group. So people go on the Facebook community group and they immerse themselves. Birds of the same feather fly together.
Yeah.
And so you get to kind of hang out and get words of advice from other people that have lost 300-400 pounds and have been in your shoes. And they're the ones they're coaching and mentoring you. A lot of our coaches at Radical Body Transformations are former obese people that have done their own transformation. So who better to coach you than somebody that's been there and understands falling off the wagon or understands some of the challenges you have at home and so forth. So
it's contagious. I feel like a lot of people have been asking me, oh, but how do I do the challenge? But I'm not really ready yet, and all I say, just go register. It's totally free. At least you can just watch who's losing, what they're losing.
Yeah.
Just watch as if it's a TV show for you, right? A few weeks later, they're signing up with the coach.
We have people that have participated in the other 3 challenges in and out. And now we're like, okay, I just needed to put my toe in the water with those other challenges. Now I'm ready to go. So if anybody watching or listening this, mention that you heard about this challenge from this show, and we'll definitely make sure that you're in good hands. It's really an amazing opportunity. We're calling it Debut the New You in 2022.
I like it.
So it's really an opportunity for people to really, people say, I'm going to start on the 1st, or I'm going to start on the first Monday. Today is Monday. So you have that opportunity. But what we're actually doing is we're extending the registration period. So you can register up until the end of January, because the actual challenge is not going to start till February 1st. So this January is very important. You need the runway. What do I mean by that? You and Teresa talked extensively about meal prep and all of these things. Those things, you need to have all the tools available to you. The meal prepping, the food scale, the regular scale, you know, what your gym membership, if you need to join one. Get all of those things, all of your ducks in a row.
Get an Instapot.
You know,
there you go.
That helps, you know. And get all of your food, and you do your grocery shopping. First of all, you're going to save a ton of money.
Yeah.
Because it you know, it costs more money to be fat than fit. That's 100%. The savings is insane. You're going to notice. It's crazy. So, and the second thing is preparation. So once you register, which absolutely free to register, then we'll have a coach call you and see if it's the right fit. If it's something that you're prepared to do, we'll get on a free 30-minute call with you. We'll talk to you on the phone. We'll see what your lifestyle is like, what your abilities are, because some people have different abilities and disabilities too. So we work with all sorts of different people under different ailments. And we even work with like some people that have special doctors and special medications for special circumstances. So
nice.
Yeah, so don't be afraid. And what we do is we talk about it and we walk you through what the plan is going to be. And the plan may not be 90 days. It may be, you know, some people just want to lose 10 pounds, 15 pounds. You know, people forget, you know, you get desensitized when you are morbidly obese. The fact that, you know, what obesity was to you and obesity was to me, sometimes it's to somebody like a regular person.
It's different. Yeah.
Just like 15 pounds overweight, where me and you are like, I wish I looked like that.
Yep.
You know, like I have a Hollywood director friend that stayed with us here at the house for a week, and he's only like 15 pounds overweight, but this guy's acting like, you know, it's the end of the world. He doesn't, he's been
a lot of people trying to lose 15, 20 pounds for a year. They always complain about the same 15 pounds.
And he doesn't want to take off his shirt.
But yet they maintain that weight.
Yeah.
It's funny because I was one of them.
His confidence level is down.
It's
the same thing as if when I was 315, he's like in the same psychological, you know, mindset. And I'm like, dude, I wish I looked like you, you know, and I'm like, but one
thing I'm sorry I interrupted. I always wanted to know was portion control. I never, I did so much research, right? You just look at Google, deck of cards, this, that. I love precision. And what this meal planning did for me is give me a lifetime of knowledge of what my meals per meal should be. Because when you consume your meal, you may still feel a bit hungry, but 20 minutes later, when the food hits the stomach, you're pretty full for the next 2 to 3 hours, which is all you need, basically a gas tank full to get you to the next destination. You don't need to overeat. You don't need, and I used to undereat sometimes, get headaches and stuff like that. And then you just go binge and overeat. So all of that irregularity, it's a relationship with food that a lot of people don't know specifics and don't have a delicate relationship with food. I feel like meal plans did that for me big time.
The analogy I like to use is like alcoholism, right? Like you may not suffer from it, or I may not suffer from it. We may be able to go to a party and maybe not get like totally trashed. You know, we know our limits, right?
Absolutely.
But there are some people that can't. And it's the same thing with food. You understand? There's people that just do not know how to, they just go in hardcore with the food. They don't know how to stop. It's the same problem with alcohol, but you can build these disciplines. And what we do is we do all of that stuff with it. We make you understand. And listen, now, if you know, New Year's Eve or whatever the situation is, you want to get trashed, you're going into getting trash drunk on purpose. At least you're mindful, right?
Yeah.
So even with the food, like if you know you're gonna binge, you know you're having a binge, a cheat day, and you'll enjoy it. But you know it's a once in a while type of thing. It's not like you're getting drunk and going crazy every night. It's the same.
No. And it is all about prep work. So this past, great example of this past New Year's Eve, I was like, we're going out. I'm going to have some drinks. It's happening. But all day, I hydrated so fucking crazy. I had well over 80 ounces of water in me. Yeah. I already had over 60 something ounces of protein and still going out to dinner and I had just a steak salad. It was delicious. And so I prepared hey, you have to meet these protein and water goals and get your vitamins in. And I slept really well the night before. I was we need to have the 8 hours. Like I was like, I'm prepping.
For you.
Yeah. Cause like now that as I'm getting older and with the surgery, like I could feel shitty for a couple days. Like if I don't just like regulate myself. And I was like, why is it's not harder to just do it a little bit sooner in the day? Like I can do that. Like that's just an extra protein shake before I leave.
Sure.
It could be the drive up there because it was an hour drive. Protein shake down, good to go. Like Built Bar, do something, just get some protein in because it's super important for later on. Like if you prep, this is the same thing that we've both been saying. If you prep now, you're going to reap the benefits later. And yeah, like I woke up, like I felt a little like hungover-y, but it wasn't like it would have been, you know? And I was very excited that I was like, yeah, I still have energy. It's just a little bit of fog. We can just drink some water, get some protein in, like to walk around, get movement because movement's really important. So it's like, get that movement in and you're going to start feeling fine. So, I mean, I would love for our followers to go over to rbtshow.com, you know, register, do the whole thing, let them know that we sent you over there. They're going to take care of you. You get that.
Right?
RBT show or RBT challenge, doesn't matter, either one.
Oh, they both go? Nice.
Either one will go there. Yeah.
Very cool.
And, guys, it's really an opportunity for you to immerse yourself in the world of actually making it. You know, we have a lot of people that are now spokesman for the organization. We call them transformation icons. The most recognized transformation success stories from around the world are now part of Radical Body Transformations and are there and serve as advisors and people that are motivators and inspirational stories. So, you know, that was very important for me when I was going through my weight loss journey. You know, looking at people that were in a worse situation. There's a saying that I like to say, the man with no shoes felt bad for himself until he saw the man with no feet. Yeah. And I was seeing people 600 pounds, 500 pounds doing exercises and losing weight, one method or the other, but actually doing it and keeping the weight off. That was so inspirational to me, you know, because you can really get stuck in a negative mindset and then you start looking at people, the wrong people, the people that actually put the weight back on. And then you're like, then you start justifying. You say, well, listen, it's hard. They did it. Right. Yep. So, but we have a world here of a lot of success stories that are continuing their transformation journey. And in our world, we'll walk you through, if you want to be on stage, you can actually get on stage. We have our first company, Radical Body Transformations transformation competition we're going to be hosting in April. In Connecticut. So that's going to be awesome. I'd love for you guys to come down.
That'd be amazing. You know, I'd love to be there. I've never gone to a competition show. I don't even know what it looks like. I don't know how it works. Like that would be a blast. That would be a blast.
It's cool.
I haven't taken one person that hasn't walked out there and says, I want to do this. Like, right? How many people we brought there? They're like, I can do this.
It's not like you have to go through agencies and become like a real Victoria's Secret model. Like you could just, you know, look great and step on stage and feel the way they feel.
There's people that
compete on stage,
lose skin and all. Like I competed in summer shredding, which is a pretty big transformation competition in Texas.
Okay. Yeah.
I came in second. I lost against a guy who still had loose skin. He just happened to have lost more weight than me.
Okay.
You know, at the WBFF Worlds, in the documentary, it was my goal to compete at the Worlds because I had won already in the documentary, the local competition. I came in second there again against a guy who lost. So, and he also still had a little bit of remnants of not like the perfect surgery.
Right.
So, you know, you just never know. It's for anybody and everybody, you know?
Yeah.
And so if you're a part of the organization, we'll walk you through your entire the company's called Radical Body Transformations. Like we live by those words. We'll radically transform your body, but more importantly, the mind.
Well, and you guys have physically done it. And I think that's the key driver of this is that like you practice what you preach. And when people do that, then people will do the things because they're like, hey, well, they're not effing with me. Like they know what they're talking about. They've done it too. And they're still doing it. I think it's one thing to be told what to do, but there's also something to be done when someone's like doing it with you and you guys are doing the exact same thing. It's just you're just different time slots of your journey. That's all it is. And I would love to go see that show. I know Kelly would because that's something brand new to us. And I loved working out. And I know that could probably like kick my booty back into gear, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So I would like to say, so before we wrap up, is there anything that you think I missed, or is there anything you want to tell the followers and listeners before we go?
No, I think honestly, there's still a chance for you to take advantage of the New Year's resolutions, and why not jump in with a bunch of people that, first of all, some people, this is their first challenge. Some people, this is their fourth challenge with RBT. But one of the things I like about the Radical Body Transformations community is the each one teach one mentality. You're going to have some senior people and previous winners of the challenges competing alongside you and giving you advice.
Yeah.
And they're an open book. They're going to show you. We have people that have recently gotten loose skin surgery talking to you about what the process is like. Besides myself, there are multiple people in the challenge that just got the surgery, like fresh out of surgery, that will walk you through the process. So being around all of that, you're just going to be motivated to keep going. There isn't a situation that someone in the challenge hasn't gone through or is going through. So you'll find somebody to identify with. And people make friends, right? Like people have met and gotten married. Like, like it's like, people have
it's a
like
whole experience.
It's a whole experience. People have
it's a boutique approach.
People have like, since they like lost weight, they've like quit their job and started their own businesses and started doing better. Like the confidence level went through the roof.
Their IG posts went through the roof.
Yeah, their IG followers went up. Like, people, one lady started doing the competition. She met a guy. They're engaged now. They opened up a coffee shop. Like, like they're doing big things. When you conquer this thing, like
we should talk about RBT as a dating website, right? I mean, transformation/dating website.
Well, we do honestly, hear it though. It's hard to find new people.
Together.
Yep, there you go.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What?
I was gonna say, we hear it all the time that it's hard to meet people, like especially after you've done some radical weight loss. Like no matter how you've done it, they're just like everyone's scared to talk about like the loose skin and like how to meet people. And like literally this could be a lot easier because you guys are all doing the same thing and you guys can share advice and then just like common goals and you guys start talking.
It's
and
so much easier if people meet and then they continue onto the same journey. It's so much easier to do it together. Like for us, it's been crazy bringing us closer more than ever.
Well, you guys heard it here. These two are amazing. They told us everything that we could have imagined about like one, getting healthy and how to like work well together because they've been doing this for a long time. You can see that they're glowing just being in the same room together. So I think it's adorable. And if you guys want to watch this, you guys need to go to YouTube, hit the little subscribe button. It's just Our Slave Life Podcast. And we just need to get more and more subscribers so we can reach all of the people that need help, because a lot of us feel scared and ashamed and embarrassed that we need help. We don't need to feel that way. It's okay to ask for help. Like no one knows what to do. We were just born here. So like, let's just figure it out together and it's okay. And definitely go to our website. We have Our Slave Life Podcast. You can get updates on our live shows because we just did one in December. It was so much fun. And then you can also have our episodes and then you can contact us through there. You can email us any questions. And then you better be going over to rbtshow.com and like at least register, get your feet a little wet, figure it out. And I bet it's for you. So, well, we thank you so much for being with us. And we will see you guys next time.
Thanks for creating this platform. It's amazing.
Well, thank you. I'm glad that you guys reached out. It was so much fun. And I hope you guys are loving this. And it's going to be coming out real soon. So, all right. Talk to you guys later. Bye.